Welcome to today's video where I'm going to be showing you how to create a project roadmap in Excel. So as you can see, I've got a brand new fresh Excel sheet open, and that is what you're going to need. Now hopefully this won't take you too long to build out yourself, and hopefully we can get this video done in a couple of minutes so that you have your roadmap ready for your project. Now I would just like to note that what I'm going to be showing you here is the basic kind of concept of a project roadmap. So there's lots of different formatting options that you can kind of introduce to make yours look more visually appealing and more suitable for your stakeholders. But I'm just going to be giving you the kind of process and you know how to build it, what you need to include, and then from there you can go out and make it look as great as you like. So I'm just going to do this for a simple marketing project. So what I like to do at the top there, as you can see, we've got project roadmap stated clearly. The reason for that, just make it very clear to anyone who opens up this resource, they know exactly what it is. So what you want at the top here is you want a start month. So that would be the start month of the project. I'm going to put in here, let's say October 2021, which is when I'm recording this. It might not be when I launch this video, so just bear that in mind. So October 2021. And what we'll do, actually, we'll put this in some kind of formatting just to kind of differentiate it and take it out. And I'm going to do that with just like a light grey there. And we'll put that like that. So this is the marketing project. So here, you know, this could be the project name itself. So, you know, let's call this marketing project A, just for reference. Now, what you need to do at the top is, well, you don't need to, but I would recommend it, is I would divide up your year into quarters and the months. So for instance, what we're going to do here is I'm going to do January, February. Now if we're lucky, if we highlight over these, so left clicked on this cell, dragged over to the right, if I bring this across, hopefully we get all of the months. So that saves us having to type them all out. Excellent, good start. Now left click on the top left, and if I double click on one of the column in between sections, you'll see what that did there is that basically made all of the columns as wide as they need to be. So another useful little tip there. I'm going to put all of these in bold, so I've selected over all of these, bold, and then of course each quarter has 3 months. So this is going to be the first quarter, so I've selected the first 3 cells here. We're going to merge and center, and I'm going to call this Q1. That could be quarter 1. You know, you get the idea. Next 3, merge and center, that's obviously Q2. The next 3 months is Q3, so merge and center, Q3. And the final 3 months of the year are going to be Q4. So we've just divided this up by months, and although I showed you that little trick earlier, I'm actually going to bring these out just to make it that's better, a little bit more kind of visually friendly. I'm also going to select all of these cells, so I've left clicked and I've dragged across, and I'm going to put these in a kind of a light grey just to get, you know, that kind of differentiation at the top there. Now down the left hand side, this is where you can put your different phases of your project or the different components. So if you're using a project management methodology like PRINCE2, this could be something like initiation, it could be planning, execution, etc. But for the purpose of this marketing project, I'm actually just going to put select different phases that we've got. So for instance, we're going to need to build a website as part of this project. We are going to need to run some advertising as part of this project. And we're going to need to also, we're going to run a search engine optimization campaign. So I'm going to put that in there at the bottom. So these are just, you know, as you can imagine, your big kind of key phases of the project, or maybe even your deliverables. They could be your deliverables as well. So this deliverable, the deliverable in this context is the website, so creating, building that. This is the advertising campaign, and SEO kind of part of advertising. That would be, you know, getting people introduced to the project or the product via search. You get the idea here. These will all change depending on your project. So now, essentially, what you need to do in a project roadmap is you're looking to introduce your different activities across the year, so it gives you a visual representation of when they are. So, for instance, in February Q1, we want to have the website designed. So I'm going to put that there. I'm also going to start wrapping stuff. So I'm actually going to bring this down, and I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to bring this down here, and that will, you'll see why I'm doing that in a moment. But we want the website design in February Q1. We want in May Q2, we want the website optimized for mobile. So as you'll see here, this is very specific to this project. As I say, these are basically individual activities. So if you wanted it really vague, this could be activity 3. In here we could have activity 4. So you get the idea. It's just you're literally mapping, as the name suggests, when activities are being scheduled for completion on the project. So in advertising, we're going to have an SEO. Oh, not sorry, that's in the wrong section. In advertising, we're going to run a Facebook ad campaign. Probably should say Meta now, shouldn't I? Facebook ad campaign. Or perhaps we don't want to use Facebook anymore, but we're not going to talk about that. We'll do Google as well. Yeah, that's besides the point of this video. I'm not going to discuss those kind of things here, but you get the idea. In an advertising campaign, we might want to run Facebook ads. That's what I'm trying to get to. We also want to run Google ads and YouTube ads. And as you can see, we're having them at different stages of the year. Perhaps that for this particular project might be to analyze their effectiveness. So in the SEO, let's just say we're going to do an audit here, an SEO audit in, if I can spell. And I'm trying to basically show you the process here. As I say, all of these different cells are activities. So just bear that in mind. So you need to, when you're building your roadmap, you need to put in your activities and when you want them to basically take place, or when you're scheduling them to take place. So I'll just put one more activity in here so you get the kind of idea. Now, another thing you should do, or look to do, is you should, one second actually, before I do that, I'm going to move this down. So these are just some formatting kind of suggestions. So we've got the website. And what we want to do here, excuse me, I've got a phone call. What we need to do here is we need to kind of merge and center. And that will basically, no, that should be in the middle. Why has that not done that? That should be online. Maybe not. Apologies, I needed to hit that formatting. But what I'm basically doing here, let's get this down, is just giving some rows essentially for the different activities. So for instance, in February Q1, we might not just have website designed. We might have, part of the website's designed. Then we might have website review, and we might also want another activity in there related to the website. So you get the idea here. We're just basically running through the different activities that or enabling the ability to add different activities to the same month and quarter. So what I would do here is I would do this again, merge and center, and I'd do that, and again we'll do that. So that would obviously have to come up the top, and that's already there. But you get the idea here. So you can obviously do all sorts of different things to change the formatting. You can have this in, you can obviously change your text. You can make it, look visually much more appealing depending on, what you like. And obviously colouring is very, very important as well. So what you might want to do is if you've got a certain set of activities that are part of the same process, you might want them all in the same colour. So what you could do here, for instance, is anything related to the website build is in green, or any kind of activity that is, in a sequence or in consequence or kind of related. So let's say this was, related to activity 3. I'll just put it in like that for reference. You could put these in those kind of colours. So let's say that you want those in orange. So you get that kind of idea as well. Now, the other kind of useful thing you might want to do. So we've got October 2021 as the start of the project. Now, I'm assuming this is going to be the roadmap for next year. But let's say we're in January 2022. Well, what you can do is you can insert things like shapes it would be, and you could put lines in. So we could put a line in. So let's say we're in January 2022. We could say we're basically here. This is where we are at the moment. So you could put this as a dotted line, and then you could insert a text box, and you could just put today. And what that is essentially doing is that's just showing, you know, anyone who opens this up, you know, where you are really. Let's put that in green. But of course, this would need to be updated as the project goes on. You know, this is a snapshot in Excel. This is not real time, so you know, that would need to be up there. Actually, it's a little bit kind of. There you go. So that's where we are today. So you know, you get that kind of idea. But this would obviously need to be updated as the year goes on if you're updating your roadmap. Now, one other thing I'll quickly want to touch on is you can also insert things like other, you know, you got other shapes you could put in here. So for instance, I'm going to look at the flowchart section. If you had a report that needed to be completed for your website build, for instance, by the end of Q2, then you could put this in here. So this could be like, I don't know, edit text. So what I did, I selected the shape. We'll put this in a nice green. It's related to the build. So let's just say website sign off report. I don't know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a particular report that he's doing, but you can put these shapes in here and you're essentially, obviously you can drag these to where it needs to be. So as I say, this particular task needed to be done by the end of Q2, so I'm going to put it in here. So anyone following this roadmap would know in July 2022 the website sign-up report needs to be completed, so that, you know, if you looked at this in January, you can prepare for this ahead of time, and that's the beauty of a project roadmap. So that really is the kind of overview of a project roadmap and how to build one. Of course, you can change the formatting in so many different ways. It's completely up to you how you want to see it, how you want to do it, but this is the general concept of how it works. But I hope this video was useful. If it was, please do hit the like button, and you know, that tells me it was, and I should continue producing videos like this. And do consider subscribing and checking out my channel. I've got a lot of different videos on templates, whether it's project plan or risk register, you know, how to create them from scratch. And I will also be releasing a lot more like this going forward. So if you do subscribe and even hit the bell button, you'll be notified of when I release them. So with that said, I hope you have an excellent day.